Yeah, welcome. GunZ 2 presentation. Before I start, you guys know the first GunZ, the original one?
I know it, but I never played it.
Never played it?
Same.
Same? Okay. Then I'll just, I'm trying to keep the presentation short, just giving you an overview of the main contents of the game.
Okay.
If you have any questions, shoot. Also, we can play the game later on. Sadly, the connection here at Gamescom isn't all that good, which sucks for a shooting game, but oh well. But yeah, I'll just try to quickly walk you through it and actually start with something about the developer, because we're just the publisher, really. Actually, I don't want to bore you too long with details about the studio and when they formed and whatnot and what other games they did. But there's one thing that I just always want to mention is that these guys are total nerds. They are gamers with a passion. Even the CEO is part of the development team. Like, everybody is part of the development.
It's a family.
Yeah, it is. They develop their own engines. They're not just taking the Unreal Engine or something. That's actually, oh crap, you're filming, so I shouldn't show this. There's one awesome moment where this picture was taken when we visited Seoul in South Korea. That's where they're located this year, and played the game. And in one stage, there's this small room, and there's a boss fight with a guy ripping out pillars from the walls and doing like roundhouse attacks, and you just can't dodge them. So what you have to do is you have to run up a wall, put your knife in the wall, and hang there to evade the attack. And when we figured that out and did that, they went completely nuts and gave us standing ovations. We were like, so what the hell is happening? You know? You're the first ones who actually figured that out, awesome. And they were just so happy that people would figure out basic gameplay mechanics, which really surprised us, because, you know, for a gamer, I think that's the first thing you would try. And so yeah, it's like a little big family, and they are gamers with a passion, which is why this game is, I'm sure, amount of fun it is right now. I'll get to the whole USP and the big features of the game later, but there's this one feature for me that really makes it. But before I get into that, you mentioned that you haven't played the first GunZ, so just another little fun fact about the original game. There was a bug in the game that quickly became its main feature. Something called K-style. It's kind of like in beat-em-ups where you stop a combo and then do something else to chain it together. And that was possible in GunZ. What you could do, for example, was the butterfly, where you would actually fly through the air and you would combine a jump with waving your sword around. It would look like you're a butterfly going through the air. It kind of broke the gameplay, and unless you could play this whole K-style thing, you would completely lose at the game if you couldn't pull that off. So the second game plays different because the whole K-style is out, but some of the cool elements, like, you know, running along walls, are now parts of the gameplay. You can run along walls and you don't have to do some weird movements. It's just part of the controls. And I'll actually just quickly show you a trailer that you can also download from the FTP that I just gave you, so you can get an understanding of what the game is all about. That already gave a hint at what, for me, is the big feature of the game. That's just that this game, for me, is bringing back something that I'm missing from so many games right now. and that's this whole old school shooter feeling. You know, looking at your clock, realizing, oh crap, it's 4 in the morning. Oh well, one more round. And that's just, we actually had just that situation at the office the other day. We launched the closed beta just 2 days ago. If somebody ever suggests to you to launch a game just before Gamescom, don't do it. It's hell. But when we launched the game, we would just stay at the office and play a bit, and all of a sudden we realized, oh crap, the trains aren't leaving anymore. How do we get back home? And that's, to me, as a shooter fan, ever since shooters were invented, really, that's something I've been missing for years now. I can't even tell all the war shooters apart anymore. They all look the same to me. Maybe I'm just getting old, but that's the whole old school shooter thing that this game is for me, and why I think that gamers with a passion making this game really helps it. The developer would probably want me to tell you that the whole acrobatic action with running along walls is the big feature, but really for me it's the old school, straight, in-your-face shooter kind of gameplay. As I mentioned, we're currently in the closed beta. Open beta scheduled for October, but if you want closed beta keys, I gave you my cards before, right? Send me an email after Gamescom and I'll send you the keys.
I don't think I have it. I got the FTP thing, but yeah.
FTP, you also got the card? It looks
no.
Looks pretty similar. It's one.
Okay, now I also from
Great.
me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Open beta, as I said, yeah, scheduled for October. Right now, the closed beta will run for the duration of Gamescom, and then 1 week after that, then we'll take a short break to fix some of the bugs. We already get some really good feedback from the users. And after that, a second closed beta phase to further test the service if they're stable and all that technical stuff. To start about the content of the game itself, seriously, it's a shooter game. I don't think I need to talk a lot about the storyline. It's not going to reinvent the wheel. But one thing I really like is how they managed to create a universe that has a really simple storyline but makes sense. For example, for a shooter typical situation, you have two rivaling factions. The setting is kind of like a Cold War scenario, but instead of fighting over oil, they're fighting over something called Optimite. And Optimite is a kind of resource or a drug that you inject into your body to grow the superhuman strength to walk alongside walls. So yeah, of course, that's all really simple and it's typical Asian overdone stuff, but it makes sense. And they actually sent in like 15 pages of descriptions and concept art, and like in the back, the chronicle of the world. That's, I think, 4 or 5 pages, really with a chronological order of events that led to the world they're living in right now, and how Optimite is actually working with the body to give you that strength and stuff. So, as it's all really overdone and out of this world, it just makes sense in itself, which I think is also really nice for a shooter like that. But yeah, for the content itself, it's a really character-centric game. We are launching with 3 character classes for now. From left to right, the Silent Avenger, your assassin type of class. We also like to call it the Camper because he has a sniper rifle. If you have to get in close, ninja swords, because that's always cool. Gunslinger, I really hope somebody finally does a cosplay of that. He's the jack of all trades with everything that shoots bullets, grenades. And the last one, my personal arch nemesis, the Shield Trooper. He's the slowest character, but he has this big ass shield, and if that guy's just walking towards you like that and you can't do anything against it, it just creeps you out. We will add more character classes later. For now, we want to balance these characters out and then see what would fit the gameplay style. We actually had a survey on Facebook where we asked people, hey, what kind of classes would you want to see in the game? And they actually gave us some really awesome suggestions. You know, everything from they put a spin on it saying maybe you could have some sort of supporter class, maybe developing more in a Team Fortress kind of direction. And we get all the feedback to the developer, and once these classes are completely balanced out, we will look what would fit the gameplay and go from there. So in that sense, it's really supposed to be a growing game. Same for the game modes. We will launch with 3 PvP modes and 1 PvE campaign. Game modes are pretty standard for deathmatch and team deathmatch, 3-4-all and 2 teams, red team, blue team. Team elimination, my personal favorite. It's kind of like a last man standing. You have 2 teams, you die, you don't respawn, and the team that has at least 1 player standing at the end wins the match. And it puts a different spin at the whole gameplay, because for deathmatch you just jump in, shoot, you get shot, you respawn. It's just really fast paced, and in team elimination you're actually moving forward a bit slower. You position your sniper somewhere in the back and rush in with the shield trooper. So that's where the tactics come in, and where we hope that the game will be interesting for the esports people out there. And as I said, campaign, up to 4 people team up for 9 story missions. I mentioned earlier that the game is a bit Asian when it comes to the storyline. Spoiler alert, the last end boss has 35 energy bars. So, yeah, as I said, old school shooter action, Asian gameplay design. I tried it by myself, no fucking way, but it was fun nonetheless. And yeah, we're actually looking what other game modes would be interesting. We're looking at rush modes where you have 3 objectives and an attacking and defending team, seeing how that will work out. But of course that needs also its own maps and designs and so on.
It's a PvP centric.
It's definitely PvP centric, yeah. It's PvP centric. I mean that the PvE is a nice bonus. It's as I said, 9 levels and 2 bosses. Every level takes about 15 minutes. The typical round time for the PvP as well is 15 minutes, so it's nice and compact. It is a lot of fun, but once you play through that, you can play levels several times. You will actually unlock items through playing it several times. Again, very Asian design there, but the main focus is the PvP aspect, definitely. Again, 5 maps. These will of course be broadened as well. People keep asking us if there will be maps from the original GunZ as well. Kind of hard to do as the gameplay is somewhat different. So, but we are looking at what maps we maybe can convert. Also the maps available, they have a couple of hints. So if you keep your eyes open and know the first game, people will recognize some elements there. But all of that, it's supposed to be a growing game, it's supposed to be expanding. We haven't decided yet how we are going to update the game, but it's most likely that we will have various smaller updates with new weapons, with new clothes, items, with new buffs, and every couple of months a big update with new game modes and maps, and just see where we go from there. And last but not least, it's something that you always have to mention when it's about free-to-play and customization. The customization itself is, at first glance, pretty standard for free-to-play. You have your weapons, you have your costumes, you have your buffs, you can improve your equipment. But there's one little hint that I always like to mention is it's the Tesla machine. And that's where you get unique and rare weapons from. And that is something that everybody can use. We always get confronted with how this is maybe another pay-to-win title. No, it's not. The monetization is kind of, I like to call it communist, because it's everything for everybody really. When you go to the shop and let's say you want to buy a weapon, there's 2 buttons, one for buying it with in-game cash and one for buying it with cash. You can get everything just by playing the game. You get the in-game cash just for playing. Everything's available, and also something that's typical, you buy, let's say, a sniper rifle for 7 days, which is typical for free-to-play games. After those 7 days, that weapon usually goes to waste. In GunZ, you can disassemble these weapons once you cannot use them anymore. You get gemstones out of that, and you use these gemstones for the Tesla machine, where you get rare items from. And the more often you use the Tesla machine, the higher the chance that you get rare items. So it's not like there's like this, it's a 0.01% chance to get something cool. The chance actually increases the more you play the game. So in that regard, we're really proud of the whole monetization system, and that we really feel that this is one of the most humble monetization systems that we've seen in shooter games. And yeah, we really hope that this gets rewarded. Let's see where it goes. I mean, it worked for games like League of Legends. They try to be really humble. Let's hope it works for shooter games as well, because I haven't, except for maybe Team Fortress, but most shooter games are really aggressive in their monetization. But we're actually working closely with the ESL. They're actually our cooperation partners at the B2C hall, where we display guns, and we think that this is really a good title for esports, and we really want this in esports, and having a pay-to-win model would just kind of ruin it. So we're trying to stay away from that, and hopefully that's working out for us. Yeah, I hope that wasn't too long. If you have any questions, hit me up. If not, you can also play the game. We have the build here. It's also at the B2C area.
It's a very particular game. Which are the inspiration for the setting and the characters?
The setting is actually, I mentioned the whole Cold War setting, and that is actually the kind of setting they wanted to go for. The whole Cold War conflict kind of style, but put in this dystopian universe. The style itself, I have no freaking idea where they take the inspiration from, because personally I just love the art style, because you can tell it's this Asian art style, but it's a lot more gritty and dark, so it has this Western touch to it. They don't have an in-house art team. They actually just went out to art teams and pitched the idea and then got all the artwork back. The artwork I would show earlier, like these character designs, I just love them. All of these designs, they just got that back and said, yeah, you know, this is the style that we'll be going for. I have no idea where they take it from. we're just the publisher, not the developer. But I mean, I think it's pretty unique as far as Asian games go, because it's not the ultra cutesy anime style, but it's also not the extreme opposite. It's not Suda 51 brainfuck stuff that's completely weird. I think it hits a nice middle way between Asian style and Western style.
It's exaggerated, but works.
Yeah,
it works.
yeah, exactly.
The artworks are very, very.
Yeah, you can get all these artworks on the FTP as well. So
cool.
Go crazy with it. So yeah, I don't know when you have your next appointments, but if you want, you can play Match 2 actually. We also have it at
appointment.
We also have it at the B2C area. We're in Hall 8, so if you have the time to swing by, you can play there as well. I have to warn you ahead, Gamescom internet connections aren't the best ones. Some people are already struggling checking their emails, so for a shooter it's just not always perfect, but you can get an idea of the game. As I said, I can also send you the CBT codes for you to play. Go ahead. Oh, and hint, I don't know if you guys are recording video footage for your stuff. When you play a match, just push the F11 button and it will record everything you play.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, again, I don't know if you have another...
I have another appointment in here, so I'm going to see...
In here?
Well, I've got PlanetSide 2 and then...
Oh, okay. So, at here at the booth.
Yeah.
Because I actually have my next appointment in here. And I was like, what? I've been doing PlanetSide. Okay. Yeah, again, if you have any questions, hit me up.